I want you to stop and listen.
Hey YouTube, in case you've been living in a cave for the past couple of days here, you may have noticed that a hacker or possibly an inside mole has stolen thousands and thousands of emails and confidential documents and climate code related to the CRU, which is one of the climate centers that works in conjunction with the IPCC to push their global warming agenda. What we see coming out of these hacked documents is nothing short of breathtaking. I know a lot of people have been commenting on the emails, which are just mind-blowing in their manipulation of the data and how the scientists engage in scientific suppression. But one of the things that hasn't really been commented on that much is the code. And going over some of the technical sites out there, like What's Up With That are actually pulling apart some of the code and looking at how it's written, all comments that I have reviewed so far had said it's complete slop, it's garbage. And the actual comments within the code themselves are fairly stunning. Let me read you some comments taken directly from the source code of the climate models that they say are causing global warming. Okay, here's the first comment. This works with REMTs being a 2D array of multiple time series whose influence is to be removed. Unfortunately, the IDL 5.4 peak correlate fails with greater than one series to hold constant, so I have to remove their influence from both indents and depths using multiple linear regression and then use the usual correlate function of the residuals. Now, that sounds like a whole bunch of nonsense to somebody who is not familiar with computer code. I myself happen to be a software developer. And I have a good idea of what they're talking about, but there's some key phrases in here that you should really focus on here. And it's, so I have to remove their influence. He's talking about portions of the code, portions of the climate model function that are creating problems for them, that are not distorting the data the way they want it distorted. So let's continue on here. Plots of the 24 yearly maps of calibrated PCR, infilled or not, MXD reconstructions of growing season temperatures uses corrected MXD, but shouldn't usually plot past 1960 because these will be artificially adjusted to look closer to the real temperatures. Did you get that? It's all a bunch of crap. Garbage. Let's go back up here and read some of these emails here. It's from a Yahoo News story. In one leaked email, the Research Center's director, Phil Jones, writes to colleagues about graphs showing climate scientists over the last millennium. He alludes to a technique used by a fellow scientist to hide the decline in recent global temperatures. Some evidence appears to show a halt in a rise of global temperatures from about 1960, but is contradicted by other evidence which appears to show a rise in temperatures is continuing. Jones wrote that in compiling new data, he had just completed Mike's nature trick of adding in the real temps to each series for the last 20 years, i.e. from 1981 onwards, and from 1961 for Keith's to hide the decline, according to a leaked email which the author confirmed was genuine. And Jones responded to that. He said, however, Jones denied manipulating evidence and insisted his comment had been taken out of context. The word trick was used here colloquially, as in a clever thing to do. It is ludicrous to suggest that it refers to anything untoward, he said in a statement Saturday. Well, obviously, when you pull apart the code and you see manipulation right there in the code comments of the actual climate data, what he's saying is a complete joke. The spin coming out of the green movement from this, looking at some of the green blogs and the spin they're putting on this, is absolutely ridiculous. We see fraud, evidence of fraud within the emails themselves, evidence of fraud within the code itself, and we have within the email context in general, complete suppression of the scientific method. Talk about kicking people who disagree with the global warming agenda out of the peer review process, getting their papers rejected, ensuring that the peer review process is completely cloistered, and anyone that disagrees with AGW, anthropogenic warming, is removed from the peer review process. And we can see that all of these peer review papers, the entire peer review process of how they go about justifying anthropogenic warming, is a fraud. It is a farce. Dissenting voices are not allowed. Their science is outright rejected, and it is completely controlled. And we know why that is. It's because all of their funding comes from promoting this farce, this global warming farce, that humans are responsible for global warming. And that is the only reason that this is happening. So you have a lot of federally and globally funded scientists out there trying to protect their paychecks, protect their research funding, and driving any skepticism of their claims, any skepticism of their papers that might interfere with their confiscation of taxpayer dollars out of the peer review process. It is wholly evil, wholly criminal, fraudulent. The scientists involved in this need to be prosecuted. There should be people in the streets demanding that we bring these people to justice, that they be tried for fraud, billion-dollar, trillion-dollar fraud that the government is about to perpetrate against us based on their phony, fraudulent, ridiculous science. Take a look. Links to my blog, www.fascistsuit.com, and What's Up With That has full technical reports on all of the information provided. Thanks for your time.